This is TierZoo. TierZoo with his fish tier list. Damn! Fucking... Holy shit! Water wave, level 65. Headshot!
This video was made in partnership with CuriosityStream. Fish are one of the most diverse factions in the entire game.
True.
They are extremely popular
Like
among
fishing.
both casual and competitive players, and make up the vast majority of the aquatic player base. And with so many different potential fish builds to choose from, it can be difficult to know which builds are actually competitively viable in the current meta. So today, we're going to go through the tier list of fish. This will by no means be a comprehensive tier list. I mean, there are more than 3,000 variants of the catfish build alone. Still, by highlighting the standout builds in both high and low tiers, hopefully I can give you a good understanding of where the fish faction fits into the current meta. And if there's
Remember
a fish I
all
didn't
of this.
include, hopefully
It's
by seeing my
important
logic
for
in this video,
after
you'll
you
be able
die.
to evaluate that fish build yourself. Oh, also, quick disclaimer, since I've already made a shark tier list, I'm omitting sharks from this video. But before we dive into the tier list, first I want to give you an overview of the abilities commonly found in the fish faction, as well as some background on the history of the fish build. So the basic fish build doesn't have much in terms of unique perks or abilities, which is actually great, as it means that each player has a lot of room for customization. The basic fish build is most famous for its use of the fin and gill abilities, both of which offer huge advantages in water while predictably being entirely useless on land.
Yes,
Back during the Devonian expansion, long before the vertebrate faction had unlocked terrestrial builds, fish were the top tier build in the game, having a crushing matchup against the top arthropods, their main competitors. In today's meta though, fish have to compete with a lot more than just arthropods, and typically place below the top marine builds like cetaceans and cephalopods. And with the nerfs to the Plagiodorm armor ability that fish used to have access to, fish have had to get creative with their game strategies in order to survive the current meta. Now let's get into the tier list to see which strategies and abilities are worth stacking into if you're a fish player.
Beautiful. Seahorse?
Seahorses are an extremely strange build with the lowest mobility stat of any fish in the game. This mobility stat is due entirely to their strange choice to spec into the prehensile tail ability at the cost of all but one of their fins. Now don't get me wrong, the prehensile tail ability can be extremely useful, especially for arboreal builds that use them to tether themselves to trees while keeping their hands and legs free for foraging. For a marine build though, I think there are better choices available. All the prehensile tail does is allow the seahorse to anchor itself to plants and rocks, preventing itself from getting tossed around by the current, which again it wouldn't need to do if it didn't lack fins. Now, they do have pretty solid armor, which can make them difficult to actually take out. But their extreme lack of mobility means the seahorse cannot dodge attacks. This leads them to getting smacked around by any player who feels like it, even ones without any special combat perks. And with their best matchup being against plankton, to me there's no way the seahorse places any higher than F tier.
Fair. Sunfish, oh god.
Also in F tier we have the ocean sunfish. This probably isn't too shocking given that the sunfish is famously bad at defending itself. But for those unaware, the ocean sunfish has the highest HP stat of any fish in the game and relies on its giant size for protection. Similar to the seahorse, the sunfish's other stats are all extremely low, and because of this, the sunfish gets bullied hard by many of the common marine threats, both large and small. They get torn to bits and tossed around particularly badly by the mammalian player base. Sea lions and orcas in particular love flexing their superiority over the largest fish build in the game. But the sunfish has another huge weakness, parasites. See, the sunfish has soft, mucus-coated skin instead of the scales traditionally used by fish players. This makes the sunfish more vulnerable to parasites, which unfortunately means that even the best sunfish mains have to play while suffering from a wide variety of debuffs from parasite infestations. The sunfish players often solicit the help of support mains like the wrasse and shrimp to help cleanse themselves, and may even sit at the water's surface to give bird mains the chance to attack the parasites. The gigantism strategy is usually a pretty reliable strategy for avoiding attacks.
Yeah, but only
elephants, whales, hippos, and rhinos are generally safe from attacks once they reach their max size.
To be a whale.
However, I think in order to make the strategy work, you need to actually be able to strike back to discourage repeated attacks. Otherwise, you're kinda just a damage sponge and will have your HP slowly whittled down, as we often see happen to the Sunfish
Very
mains.
bad build crafting right
So because
there.
of all these vulnerabilities and over-reliance on support players for help, I have to place the Ocean Sunfish in F tier.
Flying fish.
The Flying Fish is a build with an extremely unique playstyle centered around maximizing mobility. By putting a huge amount of evolution points into their fin trait and mobility stat, they've actually gained the ability to glide through the air for surprisingly long distances. This is useful as an escape option when being attacked by a larger fish player.
God damn.
However, as unique a move as this is, I actually think this is a pretty poor strategy overall. Being airborne might put you out of range of an attack from another fish, but it's by no means a safe position, and in many cases is actually seriously disadvantageous. Without any way to dodge attacks midair, flying fish are extremely vulnerable to bird attacks,
Oh, damn!
which kind of nullifies the benefit of escaping an aquatic pursuer. And in addition, with no way to change direction midair, it's actually not that difficult for said fish player to just intercept the flying fish's landing. So overall, not that useful of an ability, tacked onto an otherwise unremarkable build.
Oh. Salmon!
Also in D tier we have the
I like
salmon
salmon.
fountain, which includes the fish builds like the trout and the char. This build actually has some pretty impressive stats, with high mobility being pretty much required in order to withstand the constant rushing flow of the rivers that they use as their respawn
But they play on
points.
different servers, right?
Similar to the flying fish, this playstyle is also
fuck.
highly vulnerable to disruption from non-aquatic players. As impressive as it is that salmon and trout mains are able to make these insane jumps, the sad truth is that the thing that they're most well known for is being an easy source of XP for carnivore players. Now, this jumping ability
Damn,
is
that
also
bear
useful
really
for
just
attacking flying
waited
builds
until
midair,
one of them
but
jumped
the
into his
salmon's power stat
mouth.
isn't quite enough to be able to take down anything that
Damn.
isn't far below their weight class.
Catfish! Let's
At the bottom
go.
of C tier, we have the catfish, one of the
Never
tankier
ever-
builds on this
never
list
actually
with a
eaten
bulky yet
catfish.
versatile stat spread. A lot of players
Yet.
undervalue the catfish and see it as low tier trash due to it being a bottom feeder, not realizing that they've actually got a few decent unique abilities, most
Yeah,
important
like
of which is
suck.
their venom. Rather than specking
Wait,
their
they
fin
have
appendages
venom?
to do things like flying or flexing, the catfish build spec'd into fins that have barbs on them, which can deliver a venomous sting. While their venom usually isn't able to deal lethal damage, it's still a decent defensive ability. It does have its weaknesses though, particularly to long, disjointed hitboxes, such as the spear-like
Fish.
beaks of some bird builds. Nonetheless, the catfish is still a reliable and easy to play build, being omnivorous and able to gain plenty of XP simply by digging through the mud for scraps.
Archer fish.
Also
Oh,
in
the
C
one
tier,
that's
we have the archer
fused!
fish, the only
Get
fish build
fucked,
with the ability
Moth!
to use a ranged attack. This projectile deals essentially 0 damage, but it's by no means useless. This projectile has high knockback, making it excellent for pushing players into vulnerable positions. A waterlogged insect is one of the easiest targets in the game, and being able to force that type of interaction is an extremely powerful ability.
No.
This ability does have its limitations though. As is the case with most projectiles, this attack is
Oh!
unusable in the
Oh,
wild,
shit!
meaning that the archerfish doesn't really have any good moves for PvP against other aquatic players. I think the biggest weakness of this playstyle though is the position that you're forced into in order to make use of your
Yeah, you gotta be
projectile
high
weapon.
up. You
Being
can't
near the
really
surface of
defend
the
yourself
water leaves you
from
vulnerable
below
to
shit.
both attacks from below and above.
Yeah,
and with no defense
fucking
against
fish.
either, the archerfish is a
The
high-risk, decent reward build.
Bass.
In B tier, we have the builds that are
I
generally
caught a
solid
few of
picks,
bass
but
in
lack
my
any
life.
truly overpowered abilities.
eaten
First
them
is
too.
the bass, the poster child for the phrase "big fish in a small pond." With solid stats and the ability to grow larger than most other freshwater lake fish,
I
the bass
actually
can
caught
easily
one of
dominate
these
their
motherfuckers, right? The way I caught him is insane. So I'm sitting there in front of my rod, right? My fishing rod. And I was pretty young at the time. My patience was very low, and I really wanted some action, so I just pulled my rod up and really tuck hard behind my back. And then I suddenly felt a fish trying to swim away from my hook, and I was like, oh hell yeah! And I you know, reel it towards me, and at the end, when I like pull him out of the water, I see that that he had no way of escaping. None. 'Cause the hook was lodged in his back, in the meat part. was no way for him to escape. You wanted action, so you yanked your rod. I see. Fuck you. This ain't no one guy, one fish thing, okay?
Scene, even to the point of depleting the area of resources by gobbling them all up. Their generalist nature and large jaws mean they can prey upon just about anything, from smaller fish to crustaceans to even builds like frogs and alligators. While there's not that much that's flashy or unique about this strategy, there's no denying that the bass is a consistent threat in the pond meta, and I consider them the gatekeepers of the higher tiers. Also in B tier, we have the fish faction's premier support tiers.
Cleaner
Also in B tier,
Ras.
we
I
have
have
the
no
fish
idea about
faction's
this
premier
fish.
support class, the Cleaner Ras.
Your words,
the
I just
Ras
repeated them.
specializes in
Fuck you.
cleansing larger fish players of parasites.
I know
providing
you
an
did, but
extremely
fuck you.
useful service in the form of removing debuffs from any fish player in need, similar to the oxpecker on land. Parasites are a major threat to fish players, so it's no surprise that oftentimes even top-tier builds like Sharks will add cleaner Ross players to their party.
Yeah.
Ross do have to rely on their reputation to protect them though, and while betrayals during cleansing sessions are rare, swimming into a mouthful of dagger-like teeth is not without risk.
Bro, what the fuck, mate?
Alright, now we're in A tier, and this is where things start to get a bit overpowered. First, we have the Pickerel Guild, which includes the pike and muskellunge, the most fearsome freshwater fish in the game. These vicious fish builds are highly aggressive and attack anything in or around their domain, from fish to birds to mammals and even humans. Their powerful jaws sport sharp crocodile-esque teeth, which deal serious damage and grip their target, preventing their escape. But it's not just about power with these fish. Their slender body and camouflage allow them
Makes
to
them
easily
really
hide in
fast
cover,
and
waiting for the perfect ambush opportunity.
Muskellunge sounds like
And
an Italian
unlike trout,
pastry.
when these fish jump, it's not just to clear an
Muskellunge.
obstacle. They jump to attack. Their only weakness is a slow growth rate
Did
and
he
long
just
respawn
take
time.
that fish
They jump
with
to
him?
attack. Their only
He just
weakness
ate
is
a
slow
cat!
growth rate and long respawn timer. But even at low levels, these fish are adept hunters. While not part of the Pickerel Guild, I also include the Barracuda in this same rating, as they have a very similar playstyle. Giant size is not a requirement to be a high-tier predator though, as exemplified by the next build on this list, the Piranha.
Oh, they're pack hunters though.
Piranhas are one of the best, if not the
That
best example of how with the right combination of special abilities and team strategies, size genuinely doesn't matter. Their special ability, Feeding Frenzy, boosts Piranha Shoal DPS to one of the highest in the game, able to absolutely melt through the HP of even the tankiest targets.
Fucking DPS, I love gaming terms in this.
Because of their favorable matchup against larger players, Piranhas are the only fish build on this list that I think actually make great use of its positional advantage in rivers, as many mammals and birdmains will be forced to cross your territory over the course of their playthrough and fall victim to your frenzy attacks. Their main weakness is a lack of defensive capability, meaning that they can still be easily one-shot by other predator players. The next build on this tier list does not share this weakness.
Lionfish.
The
Oh.
lionfish is one of the most well-defended fish builds in the game, relying on a
it has
huge
spikes
arsenal of venomous
everywhere.
spines to deal serious damage to attackers, similar to the porcupine build on land.
Damn.
Because of this, the lionfish is an infamously unpleasant target to attack, and most predator players tend to either ignore
Lionfish
or
are too
actively
fucking
avoid them.
OP.
While their
Let
other
me kill
stats
you,
are quite
please.
low,
No.
this certainly hasn't stopped them from rising to dominance in their home server of the Indo-Pacific.
Damn,
Lionfish
that's a
are also
lot of
generalists
lionfish. Like,
who
who the
gobble up
fuck are you
anything that their
fighting,
low
man?
mobility stat allows them to catch,
Oh,
which
damn.
can quickly deplete a server of its resources. And because of their quick respawn rate, lionfish have rapidly spread to other ocean servers without much pushback, at least until they reach the tropical Atlantic. See, there is one fish build that has been able to consistently take down lionfish.
Is it some
and
kind
once
of
I show
shark?
you how broken some of their abilities are, it'll be easy to understand why. We've
Oh,
got two
it's
more
an
builds to
eel.
showcase in S tier, but real quick, I just want to point out that this is the longest video I've made so far, and took a huge amount of time and resources to produce. So
Hell
if you're
yeah.
enjoying it and want more content like this, please do consider subscribing. Thanks.
I am. Moray eel
The moray
family.
eel is one of the most uniquely
Murderers.
powerful fish in the game, with a set of strange yet highly functional abilities and well-placed base stat allocations. So first, their stats. While the highest aquatic power rating falls to sharks and whales, a close runner-up is the moray. Their teeth resemble broken glass and can do similarly brutal damage in combat.
That is
Their
wow.
mobility is surprisingly high for a fish that lacks pectoral and pelvic fins, But in addition to having great maneuverability in the tight spaces of a reef,
Fuck,
they're capable
bro.
of some pretty impressive bursts of speed too.
I know why I don't want to go to the fucking ocean. Look at this thing.
But honestly, bright colors are everywhere in reef servers, so they don't stick out too much. In fact, their ability to contort and fit into crevices and other tight spaces gives them a pretty huge advantage for ambushing other players. Where things get interesting though is with their defense.
How do people
the
capture
has a slime-based
these
special ability,
moments,
which
bro?
serves multiple defensive purposes. It protects them from taking abrasion and puncture damage while passing through sharp coral and jagged spaces
Moray
within
can
the reef.
snap off your
But perhaps more
dingling
surprisingly,
faster than you
it's
can
great
say
at deflecting
dingling.
damage from things like teeth and spikes. Not only does this give them a
Damn.
great matchup against sharks, but it also makes them one of the only builds in the game capable of taking down the lionfish. This excellent matchup spread makes placing the moray eel in S tier an easy decision.
Yeah. Billfish, what?
The final build on this tier list
Swordfish?
is the billfish.
Is that high?
This includes the
They
marlin,
open their
swordfish,
mouths like
and
that. It
sailfish,
makes me think they're
all of which
breathing.
have similar playstyle. This group is top tier for two reasons. First is that they have the highest swim speed in the game, beating out
Damn.
not just all other fish, but also mammals and birds. In addition to having
Swordfish.
unmatched speed, their large dorsal fins allow them to make tighter turns than most fish too, making them extremely good at chasing down prey.
Goddamn.
Their most unique trait, however, is their bill, one of the strangest offensive abilities in the game. Useful for both slashing and stabbing, this attack is one
Wait,
of the
he's
few in the
actually
game able
using
to
it
hit
as a
multiple targets at
sword?
once.
I thought it was
This
just
makes
a
it excellent
meme.
for countering the ubiquitous safety in numbers strategy many fish players adopt. And since the billfish hunt in packs, they can rack up insane kill counts, rivaling
Oh,
the hunting prowess
damn.
of even a pot of dolphins.
It was not a
With
meme.
busted stats and a signature
Holy
move that's both
shit.
flashy and downright broken, to me there's no question that the billfish is the most overpowered fish build in the game. Regardless of where your favorite fish build falls.
I'm just imagining the swordfish in front of God. God is like, all right, choose what animal, what fish you're going to reincarnate it to. You have it's your choice. So I think swords are really cool. God is like, say less. It is nicknamed a swordfish for a reason. All right, look. Some of the animal names in the world are, let's say, retarded. Have you seen the recently found biggest spider in Australia? Do you remember its fucking name? Yeah, Big Boy.
On the tier list, one thing
So yeah, I am kind of validated for thinking it's just meme, you know?
for sure, adaptation is key to survivability in the current meta, and it's important to always be
The
exploring new
Newcastle
strategies to
Big
stay ahead of the
Boy.
curve. The same can be said for YouTubers, and this is why a bunch of creators and I have started an
Let's
experiment
watch
called
it.
Nebula, a new platform that gives us the freedom to pursue the projects we want without needing to fear demonetization nor optimize for YouTube's desired metrics. In addition to posting ad-free versions of all my new videos days in advance on Nebula,
Oh,
there's
wow.
also hours of original content on there
Yes,
that
every
you can't get anywhere
1600
else.
seconds to
On
80
top of my Let's Play
French
Outside
swordsman
series,
is
which I've talked
getting
about before,
reincarnated as a swordfish.
I've also recently put out a
Somewhere in the
podcast with my
Bible.
friend Alex from the channel Low Spec Gamer, where he interviews me about my creation process and how I started this channel. I'd love for you to go and check it out.
Look
So
up
what
a
does
bumpy
Curiosity Stream have to do
snailfish.
with this? Well,
Right.
not only have they been this channel's biggest supporter for quite some time now, they've also partnered with Nebula so that we can bring you both services for less than the cost of either one individually. Normally, the annual subscription to Curiosity Stream is $20 a year, and the typical Nebula subscription is $30 per year. Yet when combined, you can get both for
Polymerization.
$14.79.
Yeah,
Easily
Yu-Gi-Oh
one of the
reference.
best
Let's
deals
go.
in streaming. And of course, Curiosity Stream is also an excellent service with thousands of high-quality documentaries to buff your knowledge stat.
Damn.
If you want to learn more about fish, I recommend their docu-series Deep Ocean, narrated by the legendary David
Aw.
Attenborough. But if you're just in the mood for some nostalgia, they've also got those awesome old BBC dinosaur documentaries too.
Hell yeah.
So whatever you're in the mood for, this bundle has you covered. To get started, head over to curiositystream.com/TierZoo.
Bro, I watched so
Thank you all
many
so
of
much
those
for watching,
dinosaur
and thanks especially to my
things.
patrons on Patreon.
So
Until
good.
next time, good luck out there.
This was so much fun! Bro, the swordfish, I was quite surprised that the swordfish actually uses swordsmanship. Like, what the fuck? Oh, those dino documentaries are amazing still. Yeah, man. Anyway, this is TierZoo. Very cool guy. You know, like, subscribe, whatever, everything. Oh my god.